Hello, friends. Welcome to the Little Nugget Show one more time. We are back from the extended All-Star break. 8 days off, more or less, except for those of you that went to the All-Star game. I didn't, but I ordered myself a hat, and I am regretting every second of buying that shit. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, tonight, your Denver Nuggets go back to the Intuit Dome where Maul and Jokic were laying fat eggs in the All-Star game. And only to return to lose by 1 point to the lowly, what are they, 10th place maybe? 8th place? LA Clippers. It was Jamal Murray's chance to get revenge on, I guess it would have been Joker's too because they were on the same team, but Joker didn't play, and I was okay with that. Anyway, it's Jamal Murray's chance to get revenge on the Claw, Kawhi Leonard. And no shit, when you do you see that picture of Kawhi giving high five to KD, I think it was? And I always knew Kawhi had big hands, but it's like I'm picturing KD as a 7-footer and his hand looked like this. Like, how is Kawhi? I will point out that Kawhi did hurt his hand early on from a Jokic pass to Christian Brown, and he was shaking it throughout the game. I don't think he had the greatest game. He definitely didn't have 31 points in one quarter like he did the All-Star game and just cooked everyone. But Jamal had his chance. Jamal had his chance to get back at Kawhi for that. And Joker and Jamal shit the bed. There are a few good things to talk about. Let me think. I am so glad that I have an hour to decompress after the game, listening to the DMVR show post game, because otherwise I'd just come on here and start breaking shit. It is not. And where are your frustrations? Tell me where your frustrations are eventually in the comments. Because why? I have too many. I need to organize my frustrations. I think the first one, or we're going to talk positives first. The positives are Julian Strawler comes out hot and ends up shooting 6 of 10 from 3. Bruce Brown couldn't miss. I think he was 6 for 6 until he started missing. Talking mad shit to the bench. Love it. Valanciunas got into it with, you know what? Fuck Matherson. Give me a break. Like, I have a new... I'm trying to think if I had a hated person on that team without James Harden there. You know, I don't hate Kawhi, Brook, Lopez, but I'm definitely starting to hate Matherson. Cocky ass motherfucker. And what he does, Jokic is getting into it with him. If you watch that play, Jokic, Valanciunas, Matherson's on the right, and that Lederhosen is on the left, and they're both just banging him. And you know there's stuff that's going on before that, but Matherson looked like an annoying pest with his left arm. So Jokic gets in there, wrestles with the other guy, and the guy was kind of pushes him out of the way. So you push Valanciunas, and then Valanciunas is like, fuck you, bitch, you ain't going to push me. And before he even had a chance, he just gets up in his face. Who was the other one? I forget. Was it Dunn? Yeah, maybe it was Dunn first. Comes in and bam, big old push. And he's like, fuck you, and pushes back. And then Matherson comes in and bam, pushes. And, you know, that got the team fired up a little bit. What I couldn't stand about Matherson is that he literally provoked the entire thing. He jumped in and pushed and pretended after the fact, talking to every single ref like he was the most innocent man in the world. I fucking hate those kind of people. But we'll leave him on the side of the road. Cam Johnson had a few shots. I'm trying to think if there's... I don't like the way Christian Brown played. Hardaway Jr. was pretty absent. And then obviously Jokic and Murray were bad. It's tough to say. I mean, Jokic, don't think he had a triple-double, but he had like 18 rebounds or something. Maybe 20 points. I guess I could pull up the stats, but... You can't stand... Here's what we're going to talk about. I had a little pregame pregame powwow with a friend of mine, and I said, Denver never misses an opportunity to shoot themselves in the groin area. And I had a bad feeling about tonight. The biggest thing is that all these guys are coming off a rest, but Jamal and Jokic are not coming off a rest. And Jokic is the kind of guy that has all the resentment in the world for the All-Star game. That cut out his, he had a chance to have a trip, but he doesn't get a trip. He had a chance to take a week off, but he doesn't get a week off because he's always that All-Star. Cry me a fucking river. Jamal's excited to go to the All-Stars, but then he absolutely shits the bed in that three-point contest, getting third from last, which would be 5th out of 8. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do any better, right? Even if I stood out there from the high school three-point line and had nobody in my face and twice as long, I probably am not going to make as many, but you can't. I mean, you got to show up, and that's where Jamal is. Jamal has this, and I feel like it comes from his upbringing, like the way his dad was to him. That he was super hard on him, and Jamal, like there's an opportunity for a dad to be hard on their son, but you've got to balance it out with encouragement and praise. Legitimate encouragement and praise. I have a son. I have an ex-wife. Can't stand. She is overly enthusiastic about everything. So it's illegitimate praise. You're like, oh, that's great job. Great job. You guys are doing awesome. You're doing awesome. When they're shitting the bed. My theory as a coach or a parent is I'm going to give you the critiques. I'm going to find the highlights and try and balance them out. But I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I think Jamal had a dad that was out of balance because there's always this chip on his shoulder, like, and maybe it had to do with the All-Stars. Like, how many years do I have to be a badass, win the championship, and not make the All-Stars? And you could tell that was a chip. He came into this year and was like, fuck that, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to work hard, and he earned it. He definitely earned All-Stars. But I think he goes to the All-Star like, now there's all this pressure on him. Like, what if I don't belong? What if I shouldn't be here? And I know what that's like. I mean, we all do to some degree. Imposter syndrome. He gets there and he's like, he was probably trying to play it cool and trying to play it. I don't know. I watched his interviews and they just seemed off because normally he's terrible interview and doesn't want to and talk shit. But you could tell he was purposely trying to be nice and engage, but it was still a little bit off. And then when you shit the bed in the three-point contest, then that little voice comes back into the back of your head and it's like, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. They were right. They should never have picked you. And then the next day you go out and play your first game and absolutely are the worst player on the floor. I mean, aside from Jokic and Luka. And get beat in overtime. So not only do you lose, but you're literally the reason they lost. Well, Jamal didn't entirely let the weekend go. I mean, if it would have ended there, holy cow. I think Jamal would have been crushed. But he gave himself a little redemption in the next game by scoring maybe 8 points, I think. But he had busted 2 threes, and those were huge. Because he had missed layups, he had turnovers, he was getting blocked. Everything was going south for him. And then you got Kawhi busting 31 on his ass. Not necessarily him, but so it's glaringly obvious. It's like they didn't even choose Kawhi as an all-star. He was a reserve or a backup or whatever. And Jamal's here, and he knows. And Norman Powell, too. They know. They don't belong there. And that's the voice that's on Jamal's shoulder. And the question is, how much is it going to negatively affect him, and can he overcome it? And the first example he had to overcome it was tonight. he shit the bed. But as he does many times, comes back in the fourth quarter, scores 7 straight points, I think, or the last 7 of Dimmer. That dunk was sick. The crazy ass, 8 seconds left, 3-pointer to get within 1. So he steps up in those moments, and he's always stepped up in those moments. But you know what he doesn't do in those moments, and that's make fucking free throws. Apparently, he's 30 of 39 in free throws in the clutch, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's got to be around this less than 80%. Isn't it? 30? That didn't work. Divided by 39 is 77%. Yeah, and he's a 90% free throw shooter. You got to be at 90. Like, you've got to be at 90. If you're Jamal Murray and you want to legitimize yourself as a freaking all-star, I mean, I think he just threw his chances of all-NBA out the window, not going to lie, to be honest. I mean, he basically, what did he do in the third game? Oh, they didn't have a third game. They only played 2 games. The second one he did decent. The first one he shit the bed. The third out of, at least he didn't get last in the 3-point contest. So if he gets last in the 3-point contest and doesn't make a bucket in the games, it's over. He'll never be an all-star again because that voice will tear him down. But I think the voice is there. He had his chance. He gets fouled, 3 free throws to tie the game with less than a second left, and he misses. He's had 3 chances in the last month. 2 in one game, 1 in this game, to make 3 free throws to tie the game. And each time he missed either the first, the second, and this time the third. That's that little voice. That's that little voice. So here's a lesson to you fathers out there. If you're going to train somebody to not have the voice, or I should say, did I say a question? Yeah, here's the question. How do you do it? Because is it directly related to the more aggressive I am to my child, the more hard on them I am, the worse they get? I think there's an arc there. Like on one side, you have my ex who's, never had a critical bone in her body at all. Actually, I don't want to get too deep into the sewer of my life there, but in terms of encouraging her children to play, oh my God, you're doing so good, good job, even though they just turned it over. It's like, I'm not yelling at my child to say, oh, God damn it, you suck, you turned it over. No. But I'm not telling him, I'm not filling him full of negative, false optimism. So that's one side. The participation trophy, everything you do is good, nothing can go wrong. That's one side. The other side is you're just shitting on your kid the entire time, making a fool out of yourself. I try to stay in the middle and not say anything during the games. And after the games, I always start with encouragement and say, good job, thank you for playing, because I want them out there playing. If you come in first thing with just straight criticism, I assume it's not going to help. And I'm not saying I'm any saint, but that's what I tell myself. A little bit of positivity. Hey, you did this good, you did this good. And then they're open to hearing a little bit of criticism. Like, hey, can we not do this more? Can we not do? Remember we talked about that? Oh, yeah, okay. But, and then for the most part, the job of the parent is to put everything in perspective, right? Your kids aren't going to play in college more than likely. And my hope is that my kids can play throughout high school and enjoy that experience. So you don't want to tear them down. Anyway, I feel like Jamal Murray got torn down. And now he's never going to reach that plateau. He had the chance. And maybe he still has the chance. The only way he redeems it now is if he balls out like he did in the beginning of the year or better. And they dominate. I don't think they understand the meaning of that word, the Denver Nuggets. My personal opinion is that I don't think they know, or maybe they know the word and they don't like it. They don't like to dominate teams. And I can't freaking stand that. They were up 9 points on this team to start in the first quarter. Like, shut them down. Run it at 20. Set a goal of, like, if we don't win by 30, we lose. Like, just, it's an entirely different mindset. They don't want to dominate. Now, I'll probably wrap this up here. So I was going to bust this out and wear it, but how did they screw me over, or all of us? Like, you can literally order 0 jerseys. There was like a microscopic amount of jerseys. I think I ordered one, and they made it sound like it was coming, what's today, Thursday, Tuesday? You know, granted, the All-Star game was Sunday, so good thing I wasn't going to the game. But I was like, Jamal Murray's first All-Star. I've never bought an All-Star jersey before. I don't care about the All-Stars. But it's Jamal Murray's first time. I got to get the jersey. We talked about it before. I got the white jersey. I don't like the white jersey. I like the red and the blues better. But it is what it is. You get, and hopefully, I just have a feeling they're going to screw that fucking jersey up. And that was $200 for the fucking jersey and this hat. $50-some hat. So you tell me, is it worth saving, not taking it out, not wearing it, and then 20 years from now saying, hey, this is, or maybe trying to get it signed at a game? Jamal Murray, the one and only trip to the All-Stars. Now, the biggest discussion I want to have is with Jokic. The problem with Jokic, you know what's funny is that I made a comment on the DMVR show as a super chat, and some guy, I almost remember his name. Basically, I was saying, as the team was doing great without Jokic, as the team was, you know, the best game of the year that I can remember that clearly stands out is when they were down 7, the -7 game. They had 7 guys out, and those guys went out and battled, and they beat a good Philadelphia team. And then the next game, I think they had another one like that. That's the kind of shit we need to see. And guess who wasn't on the floor during that? Jokic. I think Jokic's fucking attitude has gone to shit. There's a handful of things that I am no longer okay with Jokic. Number 1, why do you wear a fucking yellow mouthpiece? Like, it's almost like he has this intention to be like, I'm going to do the thing that is the most opposite of what somebody who thinks they're cool does, right? So maybe somebody that thinks they're cool is going to have like a fancy mouthpiece. So he goes, I want to wear a yellow one. It makes my fucking mouth look yellow. And his teeth aren't yellow. They're not bad. But with that, that's ridiculous. Okay, I've hated that forever. And that's kind of a... The next thing is, like, you look like me. Like, you don't shower all week, you don't shave, you don't get a haircut. Like, keep yourself dialed. I know he wants to have a beard, but you don't have a fucking beard, dude. You know, maybe just keep your little goatee and clean yourself up. Show up like Valanciunas. Valanciunas looks sharp. Clean haircut, got the beard all dialed. He's out there fighting. Like, take yourself serious. It seems like he has a bunch of shit going on in his personal life that seems to be more important than making $60 million a year. So that's the two things there with the mouthpiece and the appearance. Also, he's out of shape. Obviously, he was hurt, but he still looks, I don't want to say he still looks hurt. If he does, it's in his wrists and his hands. Like, what's the deal? I don't know what, you know, I've had a lot of wrist surgeries and hand problems, torn ligaments and even tendons. So I understand, but it's either injured or it isn't. Today, he could not freaking make a shot to save his life. And I'm wondering, he had his right wrist wrapped. Okay, this isn't something that I'm criticizing him for. But what's with everybody just being fucking hurt all the time? Like, seriously, are there any healthy players? You know what, honestly, as the game started, it looked like people were refreshed, were sharp. Denver was moving fast. I mean, they went out to an early lead. They were making good shots, making all their shots. But then Jokic turns the ball over, and Jokic fumbles the ball, and then Jokic turns it over again, and then Jokic, like, what are we doing? Are your hands fucked? If they're fucked, just stay out, because we were 10-6 without you. And I think we're fucking south of 500 with Jokic back, if I'm not mistaken. We can go over that in a minute. The last thing that I can't stand, I think we talked about it in a previous episode, is the flopping. I cannot fucking stand flopping. And it was the easiest thing in the world being a football player. I played football from 6th grade on, except one year where I had to go to a school. I was told I couldn't go to the school I wanted to go to, and I had to go to a different one. And that different school didn't have football. They had soccer. I did actually play 1 year of like AYSO as a child in kindergarten. Mind you, I was an all-star. I know, because I've seen the jersey picture from that kindergarten year. It was the peak of my soccer career. No, actually, so other than that, I never played soccer. And then so I go up to play soccer. Actually, the year before, I started to play soccer because I had cut my hand in a wood splitter, now that I remember. Yeah, believe it or not, almost chopped the motherfucker off. And so the whole thing was, I couldn't play football, but I was going to be able to play soccer. But then they told me I couldn't go to that school anymore. So I went to this other school and was able to play basketball. And then the next year, I was stuck at that school and they didn't have football, so I had to play soccer. Gotcha. I was noticing that I didn't watch soccer. I didn't know anything about soccer. But it had this tendency to flop. You only got one ref out there and you're trying to influence the ref. And I'm like, why are you guys doing this? I just spent, I don't know how many years playing football, and our goal is just to kill people. Like, I literally think they were telling, headhunters, spearing. This is back before you were not allowed to do that. It was the only goal was to go out and just be as violent as possible. And it doesn't matter what anyone does. You're not going to appeal to the refs? Are you kidding me? It's so pussy, but that's what soccer was, right? And Americans love to make fun of soccer world for it because it's so bad. So bad. So from that date, I played aggressive and I did not flop. And I never will flop. I'll never complain to the rest. As a matter of fact, we started an entire athletic club. And there's 3 rules. Let's see if I can remember. The one is that every time you show up for a practice or a game, or you gather as a team, you have to shake everybody's hand. Firstly, the coaches, and thank the refs, and thank the scorekeepers, and all that. So there's that, middle school basketball. The other one is control your emotions. As a teenager, I think there's a lot of coaches that allow middle schoolers to go off on their own little emotional rants and shit talking. And no, the people that are going to be the successful ones, and it doesn't have to be in college or pro basketball. It has to be, we're going to play high school and then we're going to get out into the real world and be able to control our emotions. Now, I'm speaking from experience. I had a hard time with that myself, and that's why I emphasize it. I'm emphasizing it to these kids because now in middle school is the time to learn it. So when you get to high school, you can control yourself under pressure. There is also a skill to shit talking, but we have a separate class for that one. But you got to be able to back it up if you're going to shit talk. And you got to know when to throw jabs and when to back up. Anyway, the third rule is never argue with the refs. That's the coach's job. I tell him, you can't argue with the refs. That's my job. Oh, you're arguing with the refs. Get out of the game. Sit down. We're done with that. Then last year, or the previous 2 years, I think, when we were playing off season, twice a week, we had 2-hour practices, which was lovely. I missed that. So we would do a few skill things to start, and then we would scrimmage afterwards. But sometimes we'd do a coaching scrimmage, and sometimes it'd just be full-on scrimmage. Coaching scrimmage means I'm going to blow the whistle and say, hey, look, right here, you should have gone here. You should have gone here. Look at that. Look at this. You know, coaching scrimmage. But the one rule we always had for those 2 years at least was there are no fouls. We're not calling fouls. And it right off the surface, it's like, what do you mean you can't call fouls? Oh, no. You know when it's an actual foul when you wrap somebody up and crack their arms and they lose the ball. Okay. We're not necessarily calling the foul, but you get the ball back. It's not like you can just hack away. There is some control. But I'm talking about the petty shit. Like, how hard is it for a coach to step up and say, listen, I don't want you. I need you in practice to learn how to play through contact. I need you in practice to learn how to play getting fouled. I need you to find the fouls. I need you to be aggressive, be the dominant one. I need you to learn to foul too and make it, try and get away with it. I'm not saying hide stuff, but be aggressive on them. The ref's either going to call it or they're not. It's your job as the defender to be aggressive until you understand where the line of the refs is. But that brings up a side point. The NBA is driving me fucking nuts because there's no standard. Like, the reffing seemed shit today. I think they had like 742 free throws in the fourth quarter. And they're calling ticky-tack foul here, and then somebody's getting murdered here. And I'm not saying it's either team. I'm just like, what are your standards? A little dink on the wrist when somebody's out at mid-court and they're just dribbling down, that's a foul? But when somebody's driving through the lane, whether it's Jokic or the Clippers, they're getting slaughtered and that's not a foul? It blows my mind. Anyway, back from my distraction. Where did I want to go with that? Okay, don't argue with the refs. We don't foul. We don't call fouls. There's no fouls. And I think that that's how kids need to be taught. It's like, learn to play the game aggressively. Don't foul. If a guy goes up or you going up for a shot and he hits your arm and you don't score, guess what? It's fucking practice, dude. It's not the Olympics. It's not the NBA championship. It's not even middle school championship. It's not even a middle school game. It doesn't matter. Literally, we're there to learn to fight through it. And if you can learn, what you do in practice is what you're going to do in the game. If you go into the game with the attitude that I don't care if I'm going to get fouled, I'm not going to complain to the refs, how much better is that? And God damn it, Jokic, if you could just hear this. Stop flopping. He does worse than flopping. He's flailing. And for years we were like, Shea's the flopper. Luka's the flopper. The flailer. The foul baiter. The master foul baiters. James Harden, Luka, and Shea. And now you don't have it anymore. Like, we could say Jokic is getting sliced and diced and banged and battled, and he's just not getting the calls. But he doesn't complain. I think it was last year where it started. He just can't stop complaining. He can't stop flailing, and he cannot stop flopping. So I think the DMVR guy said that Cade Cunningham made the comment today that the biggest problem with the NBA right now is flopping. I don't know if he said flailing, but flailing and flopping. And I agree. Play hard. Don't worry about the refs. They're going to do their thing. I was watching a game the last couple of days, or this last week I watched a few games. High school games, my daughters, and some other local boys games. The refs, I'm going to critique the refs every time, but you can't hate on high school refs. But the refs were getting absolutely chewed up by this freaking beast of a woman that was the mother from the opposite team. She looked like she was 25, but you know how it goes. You got your high schoolers when you're 25. 15, 10. Maybe she was 30. But she ate enough in her life for 2 people, maybe 3. We call her the head cow or the lead cow. And that's a reference to elk because there's, the alpha cows are the lead cow. And she was definitely one. And she's sitting right down in front of me to the right and just complaining. I'm like, the one thing is, they have to travel. Everybody's traveling because they catch the ball and they take one step. No. You guys don't know the fucking rules. Half the time the refs don't know the rules. But she was ripping them up one side and down the other. And they got a couple things wrong, not going to lie. Matter of fact, one girl was going in for a shot and gets fouled. The guy that calls the foul, there was a quick miss, a quick rebound, and a quick putback. And so he kind of saw the ball go in. And he was like, he even asked the other ref, did it count? Did the basket count? And the other ref's like, what are we doing? Like, okay. So he goes over to the foul, 3-0, white. One shot, count the basket. And that lady lost her ever-loving shit. She's like, she didn't make the basket. She didn't make the basket. And I was like, chill. Go get some more nachos or a hot dog. Motherfucker. They started filming. She had a little side cow next to her. And both, in the 300-400 pound range. And she's just literally filming. Both of them are filming the rest. Like they're going to send a complaint to the high school association or whatever. And at one point I finally said, I was like, hey, I got a whistle in my truck. I'll go get it for you. Why don't you go out there and do it? Like, you think you can fucking do any better? She didn't say anything, honestly. Maybe she didn't hear me. But that's the thing. It's like, if you're going to bitch about it, like, go ref. And if it's high school, it's not, But I was thinking in that moment, if I'm a ref, I'm going to go out there before the game, take the microphone and say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Flaco Watts, and I will be the referee, along with my partner. What's his name? Maybe two partners. And tonight we've come here to tell you that we're going to get about 80% of the calls right, and we're going to get about 10% of them wrong. And the other 10% are going to be kind of judgment calls. And I understand that the 20% that we don't get right, and even some of the ones that we do, you're going to disagree with. But people on the other side are going to disagree with some of the other ones. So let's all just understand that nobody on this court is going to be making 100% of their shots, more than likely. So nobody's perfect. And I'm not saying give us any leeway, but I am saying that we're just refs, okay? It's not going to be a perfect game. And if you think you can do a better job, I have a bucket full of whistles, and we will train you up. You can just come on and help us out. Maybe that would have put a stop to the bitching and moaning from the refs and the fucking players, too. Yeah. Did we ever get any comments? Oh, we got a comment. We even had 3 watchers? Is this John? Look, John Jones. John Jones is watching my show. I appreciate it. Yeah, the Little Nugget Show actually refers to my grandson, who we call the Little Nugget because he is a little nugget. And I like little nuggets of cannabis or gold. Little nuggets of gold are very nice right now at $5,000 an ounce. But that's why we call it the Little Nugget Show. So we have 1 comment today. We don't usually get comments on this show anyway, so that's fine. Appreciate that. I don't know if there's anything else to rant about. Tomorrow, the Nuggets play the Portland Trail Blazers. I don't like that. Back to back. I mean, like I said, a lot of the team looked refreshed. They looked good to be back, especially Bruce, Julian. Julian for sure. Cam was looking good in terms of how he was driving and handling pressure. I like that. Jokic just looked like shit, dude. It looked like he's like, I need another month off. And how's that going to work out when you got 26 games left plus the playoffs? That's not going to be good. Here's what he needs to do. Get a freaking white mouthpiece. Get a fucking haircut. Get your attitude right. Don't complain about the refs ever again. and you'll be fine. Oh, yeah, take it to the hole. Do not shoot three-pointers anymore. We are done with that. Take your first one, maybe your first two, and if you're hitting, stay out there and hit them. But also use that as an ability to drive with your fake and drive, because you can barbecue chicken them every time down in the post for the most part. I mean, except for the 12 bunnies that he missed. But don't shoot 13 threes. He's like he's trying to freaking make a case for, like, he was literally shooting like 46% from three. And I think he went out and purposely shot 1 of 13, 1 of 10, things like that, just to ruin his percentage. And that I think he's definitely I don't think he's gonna win MVP at this point, even though he's stat wise he's like off the charts of all time. But he can't win MVP now, especially if Denver finishes in fourth. Like, they're literally in fourth now. Fucking Houston is in third. Let's pull that up real quick. Standings, yeah, NBA. There's got to be a better way to do this software. Okay, here we go. So if we go here, we can zoom in a little. We can see that let's go around the association, huh? So basically, everyone played today. So All-Star. Here we go. The Cavs beat the Nets. Hopefully Michael Porter Jr., let's see if he had 30 points. He had 21 minutes and was 1 for 6 on minus 23 and 14 points. Ooh, not a good game. Okay. Well, what do we have here? Wizards beat the Pacers. Okay, battle for last. Hawks beat the Sixers. Rockets win over the Hornets, who are a hot team right now. So what do we got? Who are we going to have to watch out for? Because if you didn't know, Katie's putting up 35. Okay. Reed Shepard is 5 of 12 from, 1 of 5 3-points. That's good. Jabari Smith, KD. It's crazy that KD had this, like, what do they call it? Burner account controversy that came out where he's talking shit about his teammates. Like, I need Houston to collapse. Because why? They are now above the Nuggets. 34 and 20. Oh, Denver's lost 21 games now. Or is it 22? Fucking bullshit. All right, the Pistons dominate the Knicks. The Pistons are tough. Raptors, Bulls, no one cares about the Magic and the Kings. The Suns and the Spurs. Spurs dominate the Suns. Okay, Spurs are solid second. Actually, I think the Spurs might give OKC a run for the money at number 1. Imagine if it's the Spurs and Denver in the second round, because Denver's 4 and San Antonio's 1, and 2 and 3 is OKC and Houston, and OKC gets beat. Clippers by 1 over the Nuggets. You know, in all reality, with Jokic playing a shitty game, they only lost by 1. And Jamal, not the best game. They only lost by 1. We need AG back. We need Peyton back. Stop with the damn injuries, please. What do we got today? We got the Nuggets again at 8 p.m. I'll see you tomorrow night at 12 midnight. Or actually, so it would be tomorrow morning, first minute of the morning, 12 midnight, to evaluate the Portland Trailblazers, who I was a fan of in my youth, of the Clyde Drexler. OKC's playing the Nets. Why didn't they play? Oh, they get an extra day of rest, of course. The Celtics beat the Warriors. All right. So what do we need here? We need Houston to lose, and they're not playing. We need the Lakers to lose, and they're playing the Clippers, so maybe the Clippers can handle them. I doubt the Nets can beat the Thunder. to be honest. That's a game where you could pretty much sit your entire starting lineup and still win. Timberwolves could lose against the Mavericks. I could see that. Let's hope for that one. And nobody else matters. Because why? Oh, no. How do we get to the standings? In the West. 2.5 games back the Spurs are. Rockets and Nuggets are 7. Wow. So the Rockets take the lead with 1 less loss, and we're at 21. We're tied with the freaking Lakers in losses. T-Wolves are 22. Ouch. Yeah, so we need Lakers, T-Wolves, Rockets, and Spurs are kind of on their own. They're 7 wins in a row. Come on now. The Thunder lost, but they're only 2.5 games back. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if the Spurs catch the Thunder. So that means that the Thunder would be playing the play-in team that finishes in 7th, I think. And the Spurs would play the play-in team that finishes in 8th, which will be, at this point, Blazers, Clippers, Warriors, Suns in that range. So, yeah, Denver's just got to, grab their sack and get to work. You just cannot, you can't throw away games like that. You got to finish games in the clutch. You got to finish, you got to come every night. You got to play hard. And if they get beat by the Blazers tomorrow, I'm pretty much just resigning the year to, well, maybe we'll get 1 playoff win, maybe 1 series, but this was the year of the championship that got thrown in the trash because nobody can stay fucking healthy. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. How many more games until I see the Nuggets play? Let's see. So if we go Denver, Nuggets schedule, and then we go to the NBA, and then we share this tab instead, we see that. Oh, jersey win rate. Watch. So, if this jersey, no. This jersey was 100% on the road. Why is it not opening? Oh, there we go. So, I'll show you my jersey win rate thing one more time. We have to go there and window. Okay. So, let's go fill that out. Where are you? Oh, what are the record is 35-20. And now they're 35-21. So we're going to add a loss in the statement. This is the statement jersey, not city edition. On the road. Away, loss, 0-1. So now they're 50%. They were 100%. Now they're 50%. So what you can see is that overall in the statement, they're 30%. Average win rate, 62.5. That's 5/8 if you didn't know. City edition, 75%, 70%. Every jersey is over the average except for statement, which is significantly under the average. Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the problem. This is it. So let's go to the schedule and make sure that nobody... Oh, I have to do that again. How many more statement jerseys do we have? Against Minnesota at home, you can chalk that one up to a loss. At home against the Houston Rockets, another loss. Oh, shit. That's the game I'm going to. And for the record, every game I've gone to in Denver, they've won. I'm 100%. I will tell you, though, that I'll probably wear my Jamal Murray All-Star jersey if I get it, and not this one. because this one seems to be a little cursed. What else? Home against the Raptors, home against the Blazers. Probably might win one of those. Home against Golden State. There's quite a few. And the last game of the year against San Antonio, that's a loss. Unless San Antonio is throwing it, or they don't even need to win. So I'm envisioning like a, 3-5 record going out. Tomorrow they're wearing white. We also call that the association jersey. Why is it not showing? You mother... What? It shows it right there. Okay, I'm getting tripped out on my software here. Yeah, it should be showing it right there. Were you not seeing that? Fucking bullshit. When I was going through the whole thing. Anyway, so we have 1 statement jersey game at home. 2. Those are both probably going to be losses. 3 at home, definitely loss. 4 at home. Maybe we win 1 out of 4. Another home. 2 and 4 maybe. Or 2 and 3. And then the Spurs. So 2 and 4. That's my prediction. And that is what? 2 out of 6 is 33%, and they're 30%. So that would make sense. That would make sense. If we, where's the win rate? Oh my God, you have to do that. Fucking bullshit. Oh, I see your comments, Mr. Savelli. Let's see. Oh no, window. Yeah, so you can see there that they're all home games. So they're 2. What I'm saying is they have 6 games left, and they're going to go 2 and 4. And I think one of them's away. So that'll be a loss. So they'll finish at 1 and 2, which is a 33%. And then a 4 and 8. That's a 33% too, isn't it? 4 wins is 12. 4 out of 12 is 1/3. Yeah. So they'll finish 33% win rate statement jersey. City's going to be over 75%. Yeah, interesting. Now back to, we got some comments. Some beef. You got something to say? Let me hear. Sports ball is gay. Yeah. Well, there's value in different things, but I don't feel that way. I played every sport, and I love to play sports, and I would never go to school if it was only sports. And obsessing over teams is a little strange, but I only do it over the Denver Nuggets and no longer the Denver Broncos. We kind of let them go by the wayside. But there's a lot of things that you can get out of the competitive aspect of sport that you cannot get out of in other aspects of life. I think video games are gay. I think video games are not just gay, but gay as fuck. And I don't care if Chris Kyle, American Sniper, loves to play video games on deployment. Still fucking gay. So we all can think different things are gay. I also think, yeah, better not go there. I better not go there. So what other, yeah, having a grow show every night would be difficult. This is kind of my break. I didn't have to write a paper today. But you're welcome to come back. The next one's, although not tomorrow night, is going to be a Little Nugget Show at midnight. But then the following night is a Eyes to See show, which I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. But that's politics and current events. Actually, I did start to get an idea today. And then the Nuggets play again on Sunday in the afternoon. So Monday night, back with the Grow Show. If you want to check in for that one, it'll be Monday night, 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Unless the time changes. I don't know, when does the time change? Probably later. But for those of you that haven't seen it, go to my video page and check out the Jimmy Stewart's 5 Stages of Drinking. It's the funniest radio skit of all time, and I've reenacted it onto my channel, and it is super cool. Share it to your friends. Also, go to all my other channels and subscribe. Until next time, this show's over. Bye now.